Go share.
Welcome to the Spagirls podcast, the self-publishing podcast for authors. You're in the right place for the best writing, marketing, and publishing advice, plus interviews with industry experts and best-selling authors. I'm Cheryl Phipps.
I'm Shah Barrett.
And I'm Wendy Vella, and I'm back from holiday.
Yay!
So hello,
Yes.
everyone.
Woohoo!
And Trudy's now on holiday.
Yeah.
And as you can tell, when she's not here, everything falls apart. So
There was that pregnant pause.
Yeah, it was to build anticipation.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay, okay. So if I fall asleep from jet lag, you'll know what's going on.
Well, hopefully we'll be too entertaining for that. Wendy.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're talking today about putting yourself out there. And by that, what we mean is book signings, book fairs, things like that, pluses, minuses, are they worth it? Yeah.
Physically being there, yeah.
Physically being there and talking and interacting with your readers and other authors.
Yeah.
And the reason we're talking about this is because Cheryl and Shah decided we were, and they said, Wendy's just come back from a book signing in Edinburgh, which I have. So
A big book signing.
Yeah.
Big book signing.
And not your first, to be fair.
No. So I went to Rare, which is a romance author and reader event. Wonderful. They had them all around the world. They're amazing. Really well organized. They're huge, but I would recommend them wholeheartedly.
How many people do you think turn up? How many readers do you think turn up?
Oh my Lord. I have no idea. I mean,
they sold out of tickets, didn't they?
Did.
Like it's not just a free for all.
I did have the numbers. I really don't know. I want to say 1,500. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't remember. But
and how many authors?
About 200, 250 authors or something,
wow.
I believe, over
so
2
days.
Yeah, over 2 days. It was a 2-day event. Yeah. I was on the Friday, and I took my husband with me and my daughter, who's my assistant, and my husband. I said to him, now just brace yourself, buddy, because like he'd never been into anything like this, and it's such a wonderful experience. The really cool thing about Rare is they have a night. The night before is sort of a get-together event where readers can pay to come in and talk to you, and you can get sort of close one-on-one with them, and that's great. And then you have the actual day.
It also sounds terrifying to me, Wendy. Like that would be terrifying to me. Like talking to strangers.
Yeah, it's not, because you're talking about what you love, and that's the thing is, it's that mindset thing about this is you selling you, and it's your work which you're passionate about, right? You're not selling a Tupperware lid that a million other people have got. This is you,
and also you are selling to people who want what you have, like they're there specifically, if not for you, for those authors, but hopefully for you.
So the Friday night, though, it was
the Thursday night was the meet and greet. Yeah,
right.
so my daughter and I went to that. Crazy, so many people there. Met. Because I got a reader group, so I had a few people come up and give me big hugs.
So do you have like one of those pony badges on your chest?
Yeah,
I had
superstar author, that sort of thing. No, but I did. And so there was the authors get there first, and sort of mingle and hi. And luckily enough, with the podcast, I know quite a few authors. As it turns out, not as many as you think. When you see them all in one space, you're like, I've never heard of that person, and she's a superstar, and I've never heard. And that's another thing that comes across really loud and clear to me at these events, when you get time to walk around them and you see these author names that have got these, roped off areas and huge queues, and I'm like, I've never heard of that person. How is that possible when I do the podcast? This game, there are so many successful people doing really, really well, or averagely
our eyes have been opened up just with the talented authors in our little country in New Zealand. We never knew that there were so many out there.
Exactly.
But going international, that's just another level altogether.
So take us back to the beginning. How did you actually get? Like, did you have to apply for this event? Did they come to you? How did you do it?
So I applied for the first one in Melbourne, and after that I got invitations for Edinburgh. And so they at Rare always have an anthology. So they do an anthology. This was 2 books, two books. So I put them in both my pen names, Wendy and Lani. And I think it was like I want to say a 5,000-word short story. So I just did a lead in on each of 2 series that I've just written. And so what that does is that means that if people have bought the anthology, they want you to sign it. So they come up and meet you. So that was my sort of take on that, like, oh, why not? So
it was worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
How far out is that published before the event?
Quite a bit.
Like
you're
a few
asking me
months
all the
kind of
questions
thing.
I don't know the answers to. Yes, quite a few months before, because they have to obviously get the cover and they've got to get it all published and get it printed. Huge bound book, like it's not an ebook, it's a huge bound book. Lovely, lovely thing. And then we as authors get a couple of copies each, which is great.
Nice.
So yeah, that was really cool. So I started planning. So I did a pre-order, and I did that online. So then people can come in, and then you, like, before it all kicks, as it starts up, there's these groups, the author group, Facebook groups, and everyone starts interacting in those. So as an author, I can go in and go, oh, well, I've got a special on readers. If you want to read this to see what it works like, The author one, they're sending you information. They're constantly telling you what you can do and what you can't do. It's great. Like this, by the time it comes around, so anyway, you do your pre-order form, you put it up, and you get all these pre-orders, and then
those are pre-orders for hardcovers or paperbacks?
Paperbacks and hardcovers if you've got them, which I do. Special editions go really well.
So anything that's basically physical, right? So these readers tend to love the physical, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And so what I did then was I ordered them all through Amazon UK. They all got delivered to Edinburgh. I then did a whole lot of merchandise. I did stickers and bookmarks and what else did I had so many different things of merch that people just love. And because that's what they pay. They want to come in and they want to get all the stickers. They want to get all the bookmarks. They want to get all the freebies, and so I just took them all with me in my luggage. And then we get there, and then on the Friday, we were in the later shift. We started at 2, and I think we ended at 9 that night. So I went in at 12, set it all up. But the queues are massive because you get a pre-order. The people who the pre-attendees come in first, and then you get the main grouping. I think I was pretty much signing from about half an hour after the pre-ones came in right through.
Wow.
And it's just a nice experience to chat with readers. And I had quite a few people from my group come up to me, and they were just like, I've come to see you, and they were so excited. It's just,
so were the people from more than just Scotland, Wendy, in the UK?
I had a lot of my German readers come.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was a few German readers there. A lot of American readers come because it's closer for them, like to come across to there.
To be fair, everywhere's closer
than where we come from. I still had jet lag on the day. But no, I think what it does, and I remember Nalini Singh telling me this. She said you build lifetime readers, and that's the truth of the matter, because you're interacting with people. They get to meet you.
You're a real person.
All of that. It was lovely. It was really good. I enjoyed every moment of it. It's exhausting. I wanted to sleep for about 7 days afterwards, but and then so there was 2 days. Some authors, the big guns, I'm signing both days. I was just signing on the Friday. So I don't know what it would be like for people like your Rebecca Yaros, who had 3-hour queues. But I had some queues, but it was steady.
And you sold just about all the books that you'd taken.
Absolutely.
So I think let's get down to the nitty gritty. How many books did you take? And you've got so many books out, Wendy. You couldn't have taken every single one.
I just took first in series.
First in series of each series? Yeah. And how many of each book did you take?
I didn't take as many as I took to Melbourne, but that's because the pre-orders on this, they had said to readers not to go too hardcore on pre-ordering, because you don't know what day your author's going to sign, so buy the books on the day. I don't know. Like I don't have the figures, but I want to say I had about 100 something like that, I think. I can't remember. I didn't go over the top, because people actually bring your books that they've bought, and they'll get you to sign those anyway. And more often than not, they read on an e-reader, so they'll just bring like a scrapbook with your picture, and they'll go, can you sign here? Like that They're just coming to meet you. It's really an interactive thing.
Yeah. So it's not really a money maker in terms of selling print books.
It is that as well. You still definitely, you know, there's that side of it as well. But it's definitely, for me, it's a meeting readers.
Yeah.
You know, and
so
to
get the books to Edinburgh, you purchase them through UK Amazon. So the process of that was, did you go ahead and lower the price of your books so that you could order them at a better price? Or did you just order them?
But I author copies. I just ordered author copies. Yep.
Okay.
And I just did that. And they sent them straight to Scotland, and they were on my desk on my table when I got there. And then you get a bag, and it's got all your water and your, you know, and then so you get allocated your lunch breaks, and you get, you know, like it's really well set up. Always is. I was by the door, so I was just having a constant steady stream of people coming and going. I thought my husband was going to pass out in the end of it. He was just like, oh my gosh, so many women. What do I do? You know, and they were all manic. For books,
so,
you know.
Question, you don't have to give us numbers, but do you actually, as an attending author, do you have to pay to attend?
Yes, it's quite expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Well, New Zealand dollars, so a little bit different, but it is. And I can't remember. I know you're going to ask me, and I can't remember how much exactly it was.
But I think it's just part of the consideration of people are looking at it that, you know.
I mean, as a new author, I probably don't know the benefits if I had one book. I probably...
No, for sure.
I think it would be a bit of a struggle. I'm an established author, you know, I've got 2 pen names, I've got, you know, I have a reasonable reader base. So I don't know that I would want to go if I had less, you know, if I was just starting out and I was into it for a year or something. But people know me. So no, I mean, I joined it up with a family trip, but I was always going to go. It's where I wanted to go, and I will go again. I probably will choose an American one next time, just purely and simply because that's where the majority of my readers are.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's exhausting, but it's fun. Yeah. It really is fun.
And I also think, particularly for those that aren't living in the country where it's being held, whether it's in Europe or whether it's in America. For those authors outside, you know, there's a lot of cost to actually getting there as well. Huge, you know,
amount. But I think, you know, wherever you are, you will find a smaller one to dabble in. Like for us, we can go to Australia and do a smaller one. It doesn't have to be a rare. Rares are massive. There's other little ones. Dip your toes in the water, and if you're in America, and try a smaller one. There's a million smaller ones. You know, like you don't necessarily have to go, because it is hugely overwhelming. There are authors, fans, and people everywhere. It's like just constant. And if that isn't your jam, start slow. That's huge. I would really suggest you do that. But it's worth it, you know, like it's a little bit buzzy, you know, like these people are here to see me.
And on that note, I think book fairs are definitely a way for newer authors to get, like you say, get your feet wet, because it is daunting to, you know, be behind your little table and have people walking past, you know, and you're thinking, well, you know, what have I got to offer them? Am I as good as the other authors here or whatever? Well, the fact of the matter is there's so many readers looking for so many different books. Everybody has a chance to sell them. And I think, you know, there are some tips, like, you know, you don't stand behind your table, you approach people, you make eye contact, you know, and you have something
hand them
visual.
A bookmark or something, or a sticker.
Give out freebies. We can talk about merchandising in a minute, but
and
I
that's
think,
what you did, didn't you, Cheryl, when you were at the book fair?
Yes.
This is a local-ish book fair.
Yeah, it's only an hour away. So, but I've done that a couple of times now, and of course, anything like that is only as good as the organisers.
Yes,
and as good as your product. So they have to be out there pimping it, as do you, because you're part of it. So you have to put it on social media as well. Again, like Wendy, most of my fans are in America, so it's a bit hard for them to pop over here for a book fair. But you know, you're still putting it out there, and word of mouth carries. And you know, like I say, having a really good product, so you want your stand to be visible, visually
and that's another
enticing.
thing. Make the setup good.
You often find that they'll give you a tablecloth. So you need to check out that sort of thing, what they're offering you. They'll often, as Wendy says, give you a little pack. If it's not a whole lunch, it'll be a drink and some nibblies and things like that. But, taking with you some bookmarks to give away, like Wendy said, or having a little container of, I don't know, some lolly that's wrapped, because people will come with children. Well, if the children are occupied and you're not selling children's books, then, the parents will stay longer and look a bit harder and and make sure your covers are on point and you've got either, if you haven't got, what do you call them?
The banner.
The banner, then something on the front of your...
You can get like printed tablecloths. You can do all kinds of things. And I would imagine that each one will have its rules for what authors are allowed to display in terms of height and,
And for goodness sake, go to a book fair.
I think that's a good idea.
See how the setup looks.
Yeah.
And see what they've got that really appeals to you. I've seen people that have made like little bookcases and they're adorable. I'm not making anything like that. But, I've got little plastic stands and, that so the book is upright and facing out and just lots of little tips like that. But I think going to one will show you so much better than I could possibly explain. Also, book fairs are a lot cheaper than the things that Wendy's talking about with Rare, because obviously they're bringing in the people, right? And they're probably hiring a decent venue.
Well, they have to pay to go.
Overheads are bigger.
Readers have to pay to go.
Yes. So it is a big deal. Whereas book fairs, just everybody just comes in and they just wander through, and there's usually a kiosk outside for selling some drinks, coffee, got to be coffee, and lunches and things like that. So
So how did you both cope? So for me, it would be really overwhelming just talking to those people. So do you have any tips for like how to kind of keep yourself from being super, like, I don't know, embarrassed or kind of
I think
overwhelmed?
like as Kiwis, traditionally we're pretty reserved people, but I think both Cheryl and I are pretty outgoing. Cheryl more than me, but
when the need is there.
Yeah.
My daughter and husband were amazing, and my daughter would go, "Mum, stand up." Like when I was just like, going into myself a little bit. She's like, "Come on, Mum." And so I just got up, I just made eye contact with people, and I just was like, "Hey, would you like a bookmark?" Or I didn't really have to do that too much because I had a constant stream coming to my table anyway, but just chatting, just talking about books. What do you like to read? Which book in my series is your favorite? That sort of side of things. When you're talking about something you love, it's a lot easier. When
I think so.
Selling something that is important to you, it's a lot easier.
And usually you're selling the latest products because arguably they're the best products because you've had all these years to work on them. But you do know them. You know them inside and out. So, I mean, I have because it's a bit tricky, but I love my covers, my Cozy Mystery covers. But the last fair I went to, I had a lot of people coming up and saying, are they suitable for children? And of course, they kind of are, but not a child under like 12 shouldn't be really reading about murder, I don't think. I guess we have Harry Potter, so I don't know why I feel like that, but it was kind of like a bit of a wake-up call. But I'm not going to change the covers, but maybe just, I don't know. I don't know how you get around stuff like that. You want people to know when they look at your covers what you're selling.
That was the people there, though, right? You were going to have kids there, but normally you wouldn't have kids looking on Amazon for your books, or
oh no, not on Amazon, but at a store. At a store where
but I tell you, one of the things that went really well for me was because I've got my own store with Lani, I did a discount code on a card that said Rare 2024 Edinburgh. 25% off or 50% off, whatever it was.
Idea for your own store.
You got a month to redeem, and that went really well.
Nice.
So that was,
that's a
just
good idea.
little options.
Oh, and also having a sign-up list.
Yeah.
A guy next to me last time I was there, he actually had a sign-up list, and if you went, basically they're giving you the email, so they're allowing you to input them them onto your newsletter. But he was giving away a prize to one lucky person that put it down. I thought that was quite good. I think it was just a book, but I mean that's a good thing too. But it's definitely have a sign-up list, and if somebody's buying or even if they're not, you could say, would you like to sign up to my newsletter list?
So what
Yeah.
other things do you think would be necessary? Did you have to have like business cards made for
I
yourselves?
had business cards,
Yes, you should
absolutely.
have business cards when you go to anything like that because they're taking it away with them, you know.
I
Maybe it goes
had,
in the bin, but maybe it doesn't, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had pens. I had pens, I had bookmarks, I had really cool stickers.
What was the
Yes,
most
stickers are a
popular?
big thing.
Stickers?
Stickers, probably, to be honest.
Okay.
Chocolates, I had chocolates. Yeah, I mean, I think the stickers of the cutout, the die cast ones, they
Yeah.
were the most popular.
Okay.
But then there was a lot of young readers there. There were a few older, but mainly young, and they loved that sort of die cast thing. No, it was it was entertaining, and
Okay.
it's a learning curve every time you go. I mean, I learned from Melbourne to Edinburgh, and I'll learn from Edinburgh by going back to Melbourne next year. You know, there's a lot of learnings to take from it.
And
what about
payments.
Yeah,
Yes,
payments.
so I was going to say, how do you handle the financial
They can do it
reselling?
all sorts of ways. They can have a kiosk there where they can let you take out money. You can have a EFTPOS machine with you, but harder if you're traveling, I would think.
Yeah.
I made up little cards with my bank details on
Oh,
and
that's a clever idea.
gave it to them, and they
Yeah.
did it right there, and then showed me that it had gone through.
Nice.
There are still, dare I say, older people that struggle with anything like that, but you also, you know, expect some people to come with cash, so you need a wee float.
Yeah.
So I just have a little shoulder bag and with some change in there, but actually most people paid by EFTPOS.
Yeah.
And when you're overseas, you can't obviously use EFTPOS,
No.
insofar as because it's a different country, you know. So what I used was a QR code for PayPal, and they just scanned that, or a cash. That was all I used.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It was just easier because the Square you can only set up in one country currency, and I didn't want to do that. So it was easy, just PayPal and cash. It was easier to do that.
And PayPal was charged in pounds, was it? Or in euros? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And what about, like, did you have a price list for the books?
Yep.
How do you convey the prices?
And bundles. You know, buying by a bundle or price.
There's no point in being coy about it, I think. You know, like I know I hesitate if I go somewhere and there's no prices on things.
Agreed.
And I'll just walk away, really, because if, you know, there's not somebody there to ask, you could be chatting with somebody else. But if they see the price and it works for them, they're going to wait and, you know, have you serve them afterwards. So, I think having a price looked up is very important. Like Wendy says, bundles. People love a good deal. And the woman next to me last time on the other side, she actually was selling her whole series. And I think there was about 7 books. But she was giving them a hefty discount for that. Why not? Why not? As long as you make some money and you cover the price of your stall, you now have a reader that is going to be a reader for life, aren't they, really?
So do you think it's best to approach that way, that you would approach it as a sort of a promotional cost rather than a money-making, you know what I mean? Like,
I think definitely at the beginning. Definitely at the beginning. I think the longer you get into this career, the more you realize that your time is valuable and you do need to be paid for it. And so we often undersell ourselves in the price of books or you know, whatever. But right at the beginning, it's like having a newsletter. Right at the beginning, you're not trying to sell the world. You're just trying to do a bit at a time. And as things go by, then you can put your prices up. And I think there's stages, don't you, Wendy?
Yeah. For sure. I do. Yeah. I mean, for me, I was never going to take too many books because I was too far away. I couldn't get them home again. And so the rule of thumb, some people said, is the same. Your pre-orders will sort of bring that same amount and a little bit more. That's what they always say. But as I say, most people are just getting something signed. I signed tablecloths, I signed shirts, I signed pillowcases, I signed bags, I signed a lot of photos. People want to have photos with you, you know, and some people just want to talk. I got a lot of gifts. People bought me gifts, you know, from my reader group, from where they come from, you know.
It really is about connecting with your readers. Really, that's the key.
Yes. Absolutely.
And how did you, in terms of planning, like if you were to quantify it in terms of like, would it be half a day kind of out of your schedule to put all the stuff together, or would it be longer than
No,
that?
longer than
I'm thinking so.
Yeah, I
there
mean, I
is a bit
think
of effort involved.
Yeah.
More so for Rare, I would imagine.
Yeah,
But
and you want to, like, I do little blurbs and put them in the top of my book so that people can see what the series is about. So those are
okay. Right.
laminated.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
And reviews.
Yeah. Okay, very good. So in terms of, I mean, I've seen some authors that I follow seem to do a lot, and others maybe once every sort of couple of years or so. So it could be a personal choice on that one. You know.
And I have seen people go absolutely crazy with merchandise, like you know, like a whole stand of earrings and things like that. But honestly, as you're starting out, you do not want to sink thousands into a project like this, because
they might not be popular, right? You don't know.
Some people will go in there and they will nail it because they've got the personality and they're vivacious and they're just drawing people in, and they'll do it. They'll sell out or whatever. But you know, for the rest of us who are not quite that level of you know, in your face.
And I would say that most authors tend to be a little shy. A lot of us like working from home and are a bit sort of more introverted. So okay, very cool.
It's definitely well worth it. I think, depending on where you are in your career, but I think it's and if that you like that sort of thing, obviously don't do it if it's going to put you way out of your comfort zone. But I think it's also interesting to interact with other authors, go around and chat with other people that you have heard about and, you know, who are sort of similar to you. Like I was next to two historical authors, which was cool. And then you see the big guns and you look at them and I mean, you can't help it. There's a little bit of comparisonitis there, but you know, that's just the way it is. I mean, good on them for being as good as they are.
But it's also a little bit like, be careful what you wish for, because a lot of those ones with the huge signings, like the poor things get terrible RSI in their hands, like this is a real thing, or they can only sign like an initial, or some of them even have a stamp. Like it's there is a physical cost to
and keep smiling. I had a lady across from me who was just constant. You know, she was huge. Can't for the life of me remember her name, but she was huge. And I was watching her when they ended, and she just collapsed onto her desk. And I mean, I was exhausted. Like it got to the stage where my husband came up behind and stood behind me, and when people were bringing me things, he would go, Wendy, Lani, so that I didn't get it wrong, because I honestly lost the ability to think at about sort of 6-7 o'clock at night, and I was getting to the stage where I actually didn't know how to write my name, you know, like, and I was always like drawing a little heart, or I was like, hey, thanks, but enjoy the book, and he was behind me the whole time going,
prompting you,
"You're Wendy, just say thank you and sign," you know, and you know, and it was like, and Sophie was in front, my daughter, and she was chatting to them, and she would go, "That's so and so from your reader group, Mum," you know, and so like I honestly don't think I could have done it without them. Like they were constantly, like, my husband was getting me coffee all the time and shooting it straight into my veins, you know, like, but what I'm saying is it's actually, you need one person in your corner when you're there to understand just how tiring it is. And I'm not being a prima donna. It is hard work, smiling and being up for that long.
And plus toilet breaks.
All of that. All of that.
You need someone there to cover your table, just saying.
You know, smiling and being up and knowing what to say is very hard. You know, like I actually sounded drunk by the end. You know, like I was like, lovely to meet you. You know, it's just like exhausted. You know, but it's so cool. It's cool. It is cool, but I wouldn't want to do 2 days, I don't think. Again, like I've done 2 days before, and that is tough. But I thoroughly recommend it.
Very good. So how you find them, it would be Google is your friend, and
just
other
Google
authors, and join author
events.
groups and talk about them.
Absolutely.
Go on and word of mouth via Facebook groups, ask around, and you know, but have a go, you know, like put yourself out there.
We could probably put some links in the show notes actually.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, where can we be found, Shah?
We can be found at spagirlspodcast.com. We're on Patreon at Spagirls Podcast, and we are on YouTube at Spagirls Podcast. We almost at 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. I
Oh,
would
sure.
love us to
Wow,
get
I
there
remember when we were
by
hitting for
Christmas.
one,
I
right?
remember when I was begging for the
For
first
100.
100,
Yeah.
literally begging, and then
Yeah.
I got to begging for 1,000. So that would be my dream if we could do that over the next 3 months.
Come on,
That'd be
people,
awesome.
make
So
your
if you could
dreams come true.
Yeah, make my dreams particularly come true.
Yeah.
Go join, subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah. All righty.
Cool.
Well,
Thank
you all
you.
have a great day, and we'll be back again next week
Yeah.
with more
For
wonderful
now.
insights. Bye.
Farewell.
Keep well. Bye.
Bye.